Hey everybody. I know it's been a minute. Yeah, this here. You can start seeing my little grays coming in. They little fluffies. But so graduation got delayed, but that's all good. I am still on the wait list for PA school, so we are still, tagging along, finishing up my lab. I'm on lab 6 right now, so I'm halfway through the lab. I gotta, do the 5 experiments, but the post labs and pre labs are like the longest. It's like 23 pages, I think, for that. Going to my cousin's baby shower on Saturday to celebrate her first baby, which is due in December, a baby girl. Um, so her gift is all ready to go. Um, so I guess I don't know how we feeling about this. There's a couple things that has happened this week. First, let's give silence to those that lost their life on 9/11 because today is the anniversary. It's been some years. Also, it looks like some people have lost their lives more recently. The month of September has just been a lot of losses, so definitely praying for those families. Um, Mom is, out of the area. Trying to get her out and about doing activities and traveling more and just living life while she has it to, on this earth and this time and while she's able to. Preparing for dad to be moving in the next few months, next year, next summer. So not really in a big rush to, start, super quick for PA school, but also would like to at least be ready and prepared, make sure I got all of the classes I need. Just talked to an advisor over at Sophia Learning, so I'll be starting some of those classes soon. Like I said, finishing up my A&P lab through Straighter Line, and then transitioning over to Sophia to like knock those out and get those grades in. Like at this point, I just want to be able to be like, yeah, I passed the class. This is you know the score that I received, final grades type deal. And try to tag between Sophia and Straighter. At this point, I just would like to transfer to a school and just, get the credits so it can just be in one of these schools. Um, and I really just, at this moment in time, I'm just like, kind of, just trying to get it done. I have about 5 or 6 classes that need to be taken care of. So I'm like, yeah, let's try to hurry up and get this together. And then I guess so. So the topic came up about somebody being married and being a side piece, and then them cheating on both of those individuals, and then still ended up getting beat up by the wife or friends of the wife or whatever, and just like a whole bunch of drama. So my thing is, they say if you a side piece, that's what you gonna be. But that, in my mind, I feel like that's lowering your standards as a woman or a man. I feel that if you accept that role, then don't expect anything more or less from that person. Because I mean that person doesn't respect you enough to leave the situation alone or leave you alone or vice versa. And then it's even more disrespectful that now you are getting involved with a person who is married and this and that. Now, some individuals will lead you on and tell you how like they separated, they, going through whatever. And so then some people give you the choice and some people do not. Some people wait until they done got you, like reeled you in so deep that now you can't even figure out how to like leave a situation alone. Even though you keep telling the person like, just leave me alone and get yourself together. Like, I'm together. you know, and I know it's hard because when your heart and stuff is in it and you're like, oh, this person is so nice and they do so much nice things for me, or do, just being nice in general, or just being respectful and loving and, reciprocating those things, sometimes it does become harder. But, also, it's kind of sad too, because it's like you didn't ask to be drug into the situation. Now you in this situation with this person. You care about this person. Now you got this other person that, is pissed off because they like, what are you doing? Like, we're married, like promised me this, and this, and then it just goes into a whole shenanigans of drama. And then this person decides to cheat on both of y'all. And then now y'all both looking dumbfounded, like, what is happening here? Like, how are you, cheating on us, and then you turn around and you still married, you still cheating on like two, three people. And, and my thing is, it's sad because you don't know what the other person got. Y'all, exchanging body fluids if y'all not using protection. Like, come on, like, make it make sense. And then y'all want to get the fighting, which makes it even worse because y'all too old for that. Like, once you hit 21, 22, you should be over the childish ways. You should not be an adult to be like, you know what, this ain't for me and this ain't worth it, and walk the fuck away. Excuse my French, because it's got to be a point that in your mind that you tell yourself, like, enough is enough, and I'm not about to keep doing this foolery with you. Like, this is nonsense. Like, why are we going through this? You put in all this energy into fighting people and getting in trouble, getting locked up, like getting charges for assaulting people. Like, that shit don't even make sense to me. I used to, when I was growing up, somebody always used to say, Nina, why you don't fight? And in my mind, I was like, it's not worth my energy. I'm not about to go fight you over some bullshit. One, I'm not fighting you over no nigga. That's one. Or dude. That's one. And I don't say nigga too often, so you catch me on a right note, you might get it. But most times I say Negro. Because I just think that, saying nigga sounds kind of degrading. Any word really sounds degrading when it's kind of used negatively. You know what I'm saying? And because of the culture, like, we have used this so openly that, like, we don't think about the background and the history behind it. But my point is that I'm not fighting you over no dude. I'm not gonna try to cheat on you because you cheated on me. Like, I mean, because two wrongs don't make a right. So, like, what I'm cheating on you for? If I'm gonna cheat, I'm just gonna cheat. But most times, if I just don't like you, I'm just gonna say, like, yeah, it's not working out. And just, you go ahead, do what you gotta do, and move on. If there is a point in my life that I feel like I need a break, or I need to kind of charge, yeah, I might say, maybe we need to, kind of take a step back and reevaluate the situation. But, like, all of the stuff that be happening and that I be seeing people go through, I be like, that is just a waste of time. You, like, it really has to be something so, I guess, devastating for me to use my energy to just be fighting somebody. And, I've never really been in no fights like that. I've been in arguments, but not no real serious fights. Not with nobody. And I'm sure, like, what I say or how I say it be super deep, but, like, it's one channel in your soul or in you that just literally you have to stay in control of. You have to tell yourself, like, I am not doing this. Like, this makes no sense to me. And, me growing up, the type of person that I was growing up, I looked at that as energy that could go towards something else, something positive, nothing negative. Yeah, I have my moments where sometimes I get negative, but I do my best to, try to stay on a positive note, try to be encouraging, try to, pour into people, and hopefully they pour back into me, and vice versa, with, them giving me encouraging or affirmations to help me along my journey. Um, and so I just think that this is just foolery to be at such a, in your 20s and going through this, even in your 30s or 40s. Like, at this, somewhere down the road, you have to be like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not about to, waste my energy on this. Like, you want to be out here playing around, you go ahead. But I guarantee you, I'm about to pack my stuff up, and somebody is going to actually love me properly, is going to be the voice for me and be the support I need and the love that I need, and vice versa. I'm going to be that person's voice, that person's need, that person that, hey, this is what we can do together, versus this separation. Like, I don't even understand that. Like, we're supposed to be, breaking generational curses, and we're supposed to be, learning how to invest, how to finance and build, you know our funds, so that when we get older, we can have a retirement. I was just listening to the news. I think they said, like, you gotta damn near have $1 million, 2 million, or something like that. And that was out in Arizona, just to retire and have 20 years to live halfway comfortably. So if you cannot imagine of having $2 million saved up by the time you get to be 80, 90, 100 years old, like, what are you doing? Like, won't you go and educate yourself? Put your that negative energy, go to the boxing, arena or something, and box it out with people if you got that much anger in you. Uh, if you want to be playing in people's faces, and you can't be serious to say, like, look, I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing because you know what, I haven't grown up, or I'm just still childish, then don't dedicate yourself to somebody that is willing to dedicate and be committed to you. Whether or not you interview this person to find out, like, what it is that is their weaknesses, and if that is something that you are willing to accept because they fall short, and you know that this person is gonna cheat no matter what it is, I suggest to not get married to that person. You can want to get married to that person, but if you know that this person is a serial of cheating or whatever it is, make it make sense to you. Don't have this person, go through all of this, friends and family, in front of God, and then not even 5 years later, you back into the streets, you back doing what you want to do. And this person is doing everything they can to try to work on the relationship, trying to, fight for what they thought was supposed to be a commitment between the two of y'all. Make it make sense, people. Moving on to the next topic. As far as in school, so I was having issues with my research project, and I'm very transparent. And I had reached out for help, tried to, get feedback. Lack of feedback was insane. How they just don't have time. They can't give no feedback. And the feedback that they give is real, like, vague, not even detailed enough to even make enough changes. So anyways, there was probably some misunderstandings, but my concern is that if I did a hypothesis, and my hypothesis mentioned a minor, or any age that was considered a minor. Why did you not stop it then? How are you approving something, and then by the time I get to, the next class to try to, populate or formulate this paper that ended up turning in from a case study to now is a systematic review, which I'm like, well, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be doing. But I didn't really get adequate feedback, and the only feedback that I got was from the peer review. But even with that being said, I still was having issues with the Deuce. For some reason, either it's not saving properly, and so like all of the work that was done, like was no longer there. I don't even know because it was working on the weekend. So how it started is that the professor said that she was unable to access my project. So I went, back on the Deuce to try to, log in so I could figure out how to give her access. Well, I was having trouble getting logged in. I'm like, what? I reached out to a classmate who then was like, yeah, like it's only a 30-day trial. So like you would have to, like pay for it. Pay for it. I thought it was supposed to be, through the school. I don't know. I had signed up, like with my school email and everything, and it still was not free. I couldn't even log in. I couldn't even access the project anymore. The passport wasn't even working anymore. Like the most it would do was send me to like the homepage of the Deuce and pretty much tell me that I would have to like re-sign up for it. So I ended up re-signing up for it, and I had to use my personal email. Once I did that, it gave me access again to the app, and I had to re-upload it and all that. So did all of that after, finding out that she needed access. Did all of that, and now I got to start all the way over. So I started all the way over, got the project, back up and running, reached out to a couple tutors to like make sure I was doing it correctly, reached out to the Deuce to make sure like I would have access and this and that. And then I, instantly emailed them once I started having issues with, my actual project. And I'm like, okay, so I did a dummy run, and so I made a copy. So just in case the first one failed, I could go to the copied one. Well, either way it goes, like I fixed everything that was working in the main project. Reached back out to the Deuce, let them know like I got it working, it's cool. Whoop, whoop. I'm just having trouble for some reason. The professor is saying that she's not getting access to my project, but she just had access. So she reached back out to me saying that she couldn't get access. So I, told her, well, reach out to the Deuce because I'm not sure. I've been working with them trying to make sure that my project is running smoothly. Finally we got a ticket. They gave her access, but they gave her access to the incorrect project. So they gave her access to the copy project. Full access. Now mind you that since she has full access, that means she can go in, take out, delete, edit, whatever, because now you have full access, just like the author or the person that created the project. The project that she was supposed to have access to with limit was the one I gave her access to, and then for whatever reason she no longer was able to like see this, that, and the other. Excuse me. So she reaches out to me to tell me that the project doesn't match anything in my paper and this and that, and I'm like, what? Like it was just showing up. Like how is this possible? So I finally, I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. Like, I've already failed a class, but you want to reach out and say it's not matching. So be it. So, one of the reps from the Deuce ended up emailing me and saying like, oh yeah, like which project was your professor supposed to have access to? Because it looks like they still have access. So I'm like, what? Like I just like removed them from the project that they were supposed to have access. So what other project? Like they didn't never say. So then when I go in there, I'm like, why did you give her full access? She should have had temporary access. And one, y'all gave her the incorrect access to the wrong project. I was like, so anyways, like I ended up removing her, but then after removing her, I went in there to look to find out like if my projects, still had the information in there, and now my project looks like like I had not even put nothing in there. Like it was gone, like all of the data information, all of that was just like wiped out. So now in my mind I'm like, dang, like did the professor like literally just go into my project and like delete all of my information out of the deduce program, because they did give her full access. So I'm just like, you know what, whatever. So then, I asked the tutor, like, hey, can like a professor, if they get, access, can they go in and, change it? So they said, well, that might not be it. It may be that it's something going on with the actual app that is causing it not to save the information. So even if you had worked on it and put all of the information in there, somehow it's not saving the data or the information, and therefore it is pretty much wiping it out soon as you like log out. It's not saving it like it should. So I'm just like, you know what, this is crazy. So I ended up buying the Deduce book. I bought the systematic review book. I also bought one for scientific manuals, to kind of make sure that I can be able to, function and use the information correctly, and hopefully that it will save. However, I did save it on my thumb drive. So hopefully it will save on the thumb drive correctly and not wipe itself off. And then maybe I can just upload it and then share it when I take the class over. Mind you, so I failed the class, and then that then stopped me from being able to go on to the third course, because the third course is going to like be the conclusion and, finding a publisher or whatnot to get your articles published. And then you have to, do a PowerPoint presentation or some kind of Zoom presentation about the report. So I'm just like, you know what? Once I wrap up my lab, start taking some of these other courses so that I can, get my grades in, study for the PA-CAT, which is an exam for people applying to PA school. Once I get everything pretty much done with that area and these few little classes that need to be taken care of, I'm just going to, focus on getting the paper like where it needs to be at. And then when the class come back around, I'll pretty much have written the paper for those three steps that need to be done. And then I should be, pretty much having a conclusion of the paper and applying to, one of the journals or something like that so that I can get published, and then just pretty much put my PowerPoint together. So I'm going to, try to work backwards to fix those things that need to be fixed for the paper. Try to anyways. There was some stumbling blocks, but I think that at the end of the day, God knows best on how he wants this journey to start and end. Same way with PA school. He knows when he's ready for me to start and end. And, I've met some really awesome PAs that have recently, graduated. Some way back, 3-4 years ago when I met them, and they had just finished their degrees, or they were in the program, going through, working through all of the things that needed to be done to become a PA. It is very challenging, but it's definitely life rewarding. And I know that in my heart, one day I will have my own clinic to provide services to other people. And this is not going to be one of those regular clinics that people are used to. It's going to definitely be a unique clinic that provides more than just healthcare services. It's going to be beyond that. Some education, some resources, things to help, get you through life. So I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, hopefully one day becoming somebody's wife, possibly having kids or adopting kids. Of course, having a dog or two around the house, being able to, do something with my grandparents, land out in Arkansas, possibly wanting to open up like a hunting campgrounds with like some cabins so people can like rent and hunt for a couple days, and then or a month or whatever the season is for, and then coming down and making sure that it's ran properly, and that there's no hiccups in that scenario, and really just being a voice for other Black women around my age and either younger or older, to see the resilience behind why it took so long, why I was so obedient, why I had to be and learn what discernment means, or how I should see things how God sees them. Life changes with like my health, and trying to get my cholesterol and my sugar levels under control. And I know that it runs in my family history. And so just trying to, do all of these things and be, the voice and that person that people can relate to. Like I said, I talked about a couple of little things, like stop being in drama, for one. Just because you come from the hood don't mean that you gotta be acting like that. Like, you don't have to be out here fighting and clowning, especially when you got kids. I mean, I've heard stories about some girl had just had a baby and got the fight and dropped the baby, and the baby died. Like, what is going on in your mind? You a whole mother. Like, why would you put your child at risk because you want to fight somebody who said something wrong, or they did something to you way back when, and now you want to fight somebody? Like, get that together. Like, as Black people, get it together. Stop doing this stuff. Like, be the better version of yourself. Let the world see that you are great, that you can do way more than acting a fool, or out here don't want no job, want to be in somebody's basement or crashing on somebody's couch. Like, go get you a job. Like, how do you think you supposed to eat if you don't have no job and no house to go to, or no home to go to, or something to lay your head on? It just doesn't make no sense. I ain't saying to be a slave. Some of us out here trying to, make it. We're not making enough money to even, really survive. Like, it's either we pay the bills or we paying for groceries and gas, or we're paying for the things that is needed so that we can still have a home to live in, lights, water, and gas so we can stay warm or cool if we got, a AC or something in the household. The basic things that need to be taken care of is not getting taken care of properly. We're fighting for what can we get with the dollar that we are making from this job or whatever. Whether you are an Uber driver or you got a corporate job or whatnot, or your own business, like, there should be literacy about like how to invest, how to make your money work for you, how to, if you want to travel, and then learn how to make money behind that. Don't just sit around and think that, one income is going to do it, because no, it's not. You need multiple incomes, multiple platforms turning some money for you. You need a lot of different things happening in your life, not just the one thing. If you have investments like a 401 or a 403b, or if you have an IRA, non-traditional, or Roth account, or a savings bond, or whatever, a CD, You need to talk to somebody at the bank, or get somebody that knows how to make sure that you're investing in the right things, so that when you get older, you're not looking crazy and you can't get no services to come in and help you because you don't have enough money to pay out of pocket. Or now you got to depend on the state to take care of you. But let's go a little bit further. If you don't have someone that got common sense to say, okay, let me take some assets out of this person's name, now they taking the whole house. They taking the whole car. Because nobody was smart enough to, do a quick claim deed, or turn in the car if you no longer can afford the car for this individual, or this individual is no longer driving it. Sell it or turn it back in and whatever. If it's leasing or whatever you are doing, like, make it make sense so that when the time comes, it's not a whole lot of stuff that when you leave it behind, or you leave this world, that nobody knows what you got going on. Like, write it down somewhere, even if you have to journal and say, like, okay, this is what I own. This is where this is. Life insurance is up to date until blah, blah, blah. If something happens to me, like, make sure that you communicate this with your kids, your family, so that they know what to expect when something does happen to you, or when you do leave out this world, so that nobody is looking crazy behind all of that. Like, even with my stepdad, with him being a veteran and everything, like, it was nice to know that he had life insurance on him, that he, thought enough to put life insurance on my aunt, just in case. And then to sit around and, you got family that, paying this and that, and then they don't say nothing and don't even want to thank you for it. Like, this ain't no free services. And I don't know why some men, not all, some men think that a woman is supposed to just be the superwoman to take care of everybody, from the kids to the parents to them. Like, when do the women get taken care of, and some stress be relieved off of her? When is it that she's going to be able to come home and just be like, oh my God, and it's taken care of without her having to say or ask? Like, why we gotta ask every single time? Like, you should just see on my face, like, okay, she need help with this. Let me just go ahead and take the initiative to go ahead and get it done. Whether it's cleaning up, whether it's putting gas in the car, whether it's taking the car to go get a car wash, cleaning the car out, put some groceries in the fucking house, paying some bills for God's sake, or taking some loads off, taking the kids to school sometime without me having to ask you to do that. Yeah, I get it. Women are nurturers and this and that. But guess what? Before the women got here on earth, Adam was doing all of this work. We're no women out here trying to work, take care of the house, doing this, doing over there, trying to be man and woman. Like, we was not even here yet. So what happened to that hardworking man that was not dependent on me to do every single thing, or to think for him? Like, I get it. Yes, we are supposed to, be a team. We supposed to be the helper. We're supposed to be able to say, babe, yeah, don't forget, blah, blah, blah. But I should not have to be the reminder every fucking day to do something. If I say something, write it down. At least help me after I've helped you. But it's almost like, well, you should be able to do this, and you should. Why do I supposed to just off rip know that I'm supposed to remember that? Because now my brain has moved on to something else. It has now turned into, I got 20,000 other things going in my mind, from bills to school to, parents, if I had kids, the dog or pets, depending on what's going on, to, oh, I might have a side gig I need to get hours in for it. Like, come, make it make fucking sense. Please make it make sense. But instead, it's like we're constantly like fucking robots. And it doesn't matter how many times we have reminded, said, did, put it on the calendar. You don't want to look at the calendar, don't want to reference it out the email, you don't want to look at your calendar in the phone. Like, what else do you want us to do? But we're the helpers trying to help you, make it easy on you. But at the same time, it's putting more burden and more baggage on us. And then we trying to, unload the baggage. We trying to drop these bags somewhere so that when we get into relationships, we're not just, I got 10 bags still hanging on me and you probably got 20. And now we done got together and we got 30 bags together burying us both. And we cannot seem to get above the water. Make it easy for both parties. Just make it easy. Hey, if I know I'm good at remembering things, okay, cool. But I also, if I know I forget something, I know that I'm going to write it down somewhere so that you can see it, I can see it, whoever needs to see it can see it. And stay consistent with that. But I digress. Just going off on a tangent. Moving on to the next subject, let's talk about exercise. So, eventually I do want to look into going back to doing basic ballet. I used to do ballet some years ago. So I'll say I probably 33 years ago, which would have put me at about 3 or 4 when I started. And it was just relaxing to me. I just did not like the tap dance part because I never wanted to be the center of attention. I wanted it to be quiet, but I wanted to be in a zone that no matter who was watching me, it didn't matter because I didn't notice it. With noise and sound, I notice when somebody is literally focused on me, because if I mess up on that tap, step, move, like you're going to say something. But I know in the ballet portion of it, I knew that once I started, I was in my own world, stretching, dancing around, and I was in my happy place. So I do want to, start to do little things to get myself back in motion and to get my body back in shape and more flexible to move so I don't have as much pain. And I actually just stumbled upon one of the ladies who passed away, I want to say, I think a few years, either this year or last year. She was 93 or 94. Her name was Millie. And her granddaughter started training with her, learning how to do all of the stretches and the dances that she learned when she was a dancer. And she said that was what helped her, still be able to move like she did. And even in her 90s, she didn't even look like she was in her 90s. Man, I thought she was like at least 70, 80. At least. She still had like the young face. Like, she also talked about like eating better, drinking more water, just being able to, meditate. And I used to meditate a little more than I do now, but like really meditate and get your mind reset and to, just be able to say, you know what, that's not going to stress me today. Is it worth it? It's not worth it. And just being able to move and just with the flow of whatever sound that you hear in your mind, or just if you want to be in silence, being able to be in silence and moving and just feeling the music and the rhythm and all of the different moves. Like, it's definitely something that you should, look into, whether it's yoga or Pilates or whatever type of exercise that you enjoy doing, do it because you like doing it. And I think that, once I get my book published, you'll kind of understand like my story behind a lot of things that, make me move the way I move, talk the way I talk. Yes, I came from, older family members that raised me, and, looked at different ways of how to be better, how to do things a little bit differently than their parents and vice versa. So definitely, it's going to be a lot of different things that will be, coming about, one day at a time, of course, but I am going to start journaling again. My goal is to start back up next week or on the weekend, Sunday, Monday, to kind of like get the story going, talking about like my journey, my frustration, my love life. Talk a little bit more about the sex situation that has been just, I don't know, like my body is changing as I'm aging. I don't look my age, but I can feel the changes, and it's like frustrating me because I feel like something is wrong with me. So we'll get more into that on the next video that I do. I'm gonna try to, do some updates on different things that's happening, but right now, like, I'm in the middle of doing data entry homework. Just gotten off of my day job, which, I did office hours for HR. I only had maybe one or so concern, and then yeah, so we shall see. But everything is, it's in God's timing. Again, be nice and kind to one another. Until next time, ciao.